Welcome to Grace Fishers. We're so glad you guys are here with us this morning. I know it's been a really hot week this week, and I'm one of the few people that enjoys that. So I was sitting outside in the sweltering heat, enjoying the warm hug while everyone else was thinking I was crazy outside. We're so glad you're here today. If it is your first time, we would love to get to know you a little bit more and be able to introduce ourselves and have you introduce yourselves to us. Out the doors and to your right, we have our Welcome Info Center, and we'd love to get to know you a little bit better. So if it is your first time, come say hi. Also, if you're joining us online, thank you so much, and we're so happy you're here with us as well. We are going to start by spending some time in worship. So enjoy this time to kind of take a deep breath and be where your feet are.
Well, Grace Fishers, if you are human, you probably are in need of some rest. And that is what this time is for us. I'm going to call us to worship the God who is consistently present for and with us. Scriptural truths like the God who was, who is to come. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, forever. They remind us not to chase circumstances, but to chase the loving, consistent presence of God and to trust and to rest in Him. So I'd invite you to stand as you're able as we prepare to worship, as we call ourselves into worshiping this consistent, loving God. I'm calling on the God of Jacob, whose love endures through generations. I know that you will keep your covenant. I'm calling on the God of Moses, the one who opened up the ocean. I need you now to do the same thing for me. Oh God, my God, I need you. God, my God, I need you now. How I need you now. Oh rock of ages, I'm standing on your faithfulness. Your faithfulness. I'm calling on the God of Mary, whose favor rests upon the lowly. I know with you all things are possible. I'm calling on the God of David, who made a shepherd boy courageous. I may not face Goliath, but I've got my own giants. Oh God, my God, I need you. Oh God, my God, I need you now. How I need you now. Oh rock of ages, I'm standing on your faith. children then, you hear your children now. You are the same God, you are the same God. You answered prayers back then, and you will answer now. You are the same God, you are the same God. You were providing then, you are providing now. You are the same God, you are the same God. You moved in power then, God move in power now. You are the same God, you are the same God. You were a healer then, you are a healer now. You are the same God, you are the same God. You are a savior then, you are a savior now. You are the same God, you are the same. Oh God, my God, I need you. Oh God, my God, I need you now. How I need you now. Oh rock of ages, I'm standing on your faithfulness. Your faithfulness. Oh God, my God, I need you now. I need you now. How I need you now. You're my rock, oh rock of ages. I'm standing on your faithfulness. Your faithfulness. Oh God, my God, I need you. Oh God, my God, I need you now. How I need you now. Oh rock of ages, I'm standing on your faithfulness. Your faithfulness.
When my heart is racing deep inside my chest, when I'm underneath the weight of anxiousness, when my fears rage, I can't catch my breath, I will remember you are faithful still. You have carried me through deeper waters, walked beside me through the fire. Faithful still. You have chose the mouths of bigger lions, conquered even greater giants. Gone before me and you always will. You are faithful still. God, you saw this long before I ever knew, and your peace is waiting here to see me through. My deliverance is only found in you, so I will surrender. You are faithful. the child of a mountain mover. I have a hope, I have a future. I'm the child of a mountain mover. I have a hope, I have a future. I'm the child of a mountain mover. I have a hope, I have a future. I'm a child of a mountain mover. You are faithful still. You have carried me through deeper waters, walked beside me through the fire. Faithful still. You have closed the mouths of bigger lions, conquered even greater giants, gone before me and you always will. You are faithful still. I have a hope, I have a future. I'm the child of a mountain mover. I have a hope, I have a future. I'm the child of a mountain mover. Jesus. I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of
for your goodness. It chases after each and every one of us. I pray, Lord, that you would remind us to rest and to look for you, to trust that you are right there beside each and every one of us, and that we don't have to do this on our own. We don't have to figure this out on our own. We simply need to rest in you. Seek your love and seek your radical wisdom. We're thankful for these moments together. We give them to you. Amen. And you may be seated.
Later in the service, we get to celebrate together God's faithfulness through communion. So if you haven't picked up the communion elements right as you enter, you can go back there and grab them whenever is best for you. We'll be doing that a little further in the service. We have a few announcements today. The first one is we're coming up on July 4th, and as a church, we have a tradition. We have our Grace Fisher's fireworks. If you have not been before, this is, well, first of all, it's just beautiful, and it's so well done with music and worship songs, and it is a great opportunity for you to invite friends, neighbors that might not take you up on an invitation to join you for church, but might join you for a fireworks event. So this is something that Chago and I have invited our cul-de-sac to for the past few years, and it's just been a fun tradition that now they just come with us to the fireworks, and it's just a really great opportunity. So if you can join us and invite some friends, it's going to be a great evening. Our next announcement is, we talked about this last week, but we are partnering with Grace, with Shepherd Community, which Shepherd Community is doing a lot to break the cycle of poverty in Indianapolis through resources, through education. And one thing we want to partner with them, and we do this also every year, is we want to help provide backpacks. We have committed to providing 400 backpacks, and as of whenever Joey sent me the list of announcements, I was going to say we needed 170 of those still, but he came up to me before service and said, actually, that number is down to 80. So we only need 80 more, and if you would like, you can scan this QR code. It's $20 per backpack, and that's a backpack filled with the school supplies that these kids will need. So join us in supporting Shepherd as they work diligently to break the cycle of poverty in Indianapolis. Our next announcement is there is a school program, LifeWise. It allows kids the opportunity to learn about the Bible during their school day, and HSC Schools is opening a chapter of that this upcoming school year. And Grace Fishers, in our attempt of always serving our community around us, was going to open our church to be a host for LifeWise Academy, which is kids get to, during the school day, come and learn about the Bible. So this will be happening, and there will be more information. If you would like to know, we need volunteers. Again, Grace Fishers is hosting this program. LifeWise needs volunteers. So if you would like more information, across the lobby there will be a kiosk there that will be happy to answer any questions you have. But this is an opportunity Grace Fishers has to host this program. We always talk about ways that you can help and how Grace Fishers is serving outside the walls. And when you give to Grace, give of your resources, your time, your prayer, that allows us to do everything that is done within the walls and also outside of the walls. So we're just really grateful for all of you who give in any way to the ministry here at Grace Fishers, and that allows us to serve others outside the walls as well. In a moment, Rob will come up and we will continue our series in Ecclesiastes.
I didn't either. This guy named Peter Seeger, he wrote that song in 1959. Obviously, he took the words from Ecclesiastes chapter 3, 1 to 8, actually from the King James Version of the Bible. That's what inspired him to write that song. And there is him in his later years. He was a folk singer. And though his recording came out, his own recording came out in 62, he wrote it in 59. The song didn't become popular until it was sung by a group called The Byrds in 1965. Some of y'all were alive back then. Seeger was frustrated when he wrote this song about what was going on in the world, both in the U.S. and beyond. In the U.S., when he wrote it, the war in Vietnam had just been going on for a few years, and we were involved, and though it wasn't substantial yet, it was going to be. The civil rights movement was growing, and it was frustrating many in power, especially in the terribly segregated South where tension between races was palpable. In fact, a few years before he wrote that song, a 42-year-old woman named Rosa Parks was riding on a bus, and as an African-American woman, she was told by the driver to give up her seat because women like her were to sit in the back. She refused, and she was arrested, and it started a boycott of the city public transportation system that brought much-needed attention to the unjust laws and actions and attitudes that existed in our country then. And 2 years later, the civil rights law was passed, but the law didn't necessarily change hearts. But there was also tension in the world. The U.S. and the Soviet Union were in a race to send astronauts into space, which not only opened up new technology that led to wonderful innovations for good, but also, sadly, for war. In fact, the development of the hydrogen bomb took place around then by the U.S., the Soviet Union, and Great Britain. So Seeger, like many of that day, were very frustrated by what they saw and what they were experiencing. And so, like Solomon, he took to writing. And though most of the words came right out of Ecclesiastes 3, he added the phrase, turn, 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 as a plea to wake people up to turn from hate and to turn from war. And at the end, the way he worded the ending was a plea for change. He said, there is a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. Now, his song didn't become popular until 65, like I said, when the Byrds released it. By that point, there were 200,000 American soldiers in Vietnam. Malcolm X had been assassinated, and civil rights marches continued because laws were made, but hearts weren't changed. The words of that song resonated deeply with many who desperately wanted to see change, but too often it didn't include Jesus, which led very often to an empty pursuit, like trying to grab the wind in your hands. As a side note, though the Byrds song was very popular in 1965, it didn't even make the top 10. The number one song was Wooly Bully by Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs. I'll just leave that one right there. They actually did more songs than I thought. But enough of the silliness of the 1960s. It's time to get back to Solomon and his quest for meaning, which we've been talking about week after week. And we're going to take a look at Ecclesiastes 3, which includes the inspiration for Seeger's song. While we jump back into what Solomon wrote, we will come to see that Solomon's ultimate conclusion is captured well, I think, by an overview simply by the Bible Project. And this is their overview. When I adopt a posture of complete trust in God, it frees me to enjoy life as I actually experience it, and not as I think it ought to be. That last line is what caught my attention from that overview by the Bible Project, a life as I actually experience it and not as I think it ought to be. How often do we get caught wishing for things to be different and use all kinds of energy to that end, which gets frustrating, almost like chasing the wind? How much energy is often given to try to change things that are beyond our control? Well, Solomon dug deep, and he came to see, basically, put simpler, a posture of trust leads to a life of freedom. It's realizing God knows far more than I do. It's trusting his timing in everything, no matter how long it takes, even if it happens beyond my lifetime. It's letting go of the tenacious grip I have on my life and allowing him to take full control. Because as Jesus said, if you cling to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for me, you will find it. So let's take a look at the way Solomon lays this out in Ecclesiastes 3, beginning in verse 1. In the Bible that's provided here under some of the seats, it'd be page 552. And we're going to read the words that inspired Seeger's song. I'm going to read the first verse, and then I'm going to read the first portion of each next verse and ask you to invite me by joining to say the last part of that verse. You ready for that? For everything, there's a season, a time for every activity under heaven. There is a time to be born, a time to plant, a time to kill, a time to tear down, a time to cry, and a time to grieve, a time to scatter stones, a time to embrace, a time to search, a time to keep, a time to tear, a time to be quiet, a time to love, a time for war. Isn't it interesting that even reading that feels monotonous? And I believe that's part of Solomon's point. The poem begins by stating the inevitability of the cycles of life, beginning with the time to be born and a time to die. From there, it captures the ebbs and flows of life in a rhythmic, paradoxical manner, which is both beautiful and yet realistic. It reminds us about the inevitability of trouble and evil amid the monotony of life as we plant, as we harvest, as we plant again and harvest again, and on and on. Many of his paradoxical statements revolve around relationships which still reflect our reality today. For instance, when he says there's a time to cry and a time to grieve, there's also a time to laugh and a time to dance, except in my case, I got no rhythm. Once I was officiating the wedding rehearsal and wedding of former students when I was in my youth ministry days, and after the rehearsal dinner, a number of them came to say, "Rob, come on, we're gonna dance." And I said, "Oh, no, thanks, I appreciate it." And they looked like, "Oh, you're a pastor, or there's some reason." Like, I said, "No, it has nothing to do with my theology. It has everything to do with my self-image." So they kind of walked away and went, "Oh, wait." Anyway, I don't think in Solomon's case that one was right. But Solomon also noticed there's a time to embrace and a time to turn away. Obviously, in his culture, embracing and a hug and a kiss on the cheek at every greeting was common. It was common then, and it's still common in many cultures today. But he also knew there were times when that kind of greeting wasn't appropriate, such as when one needs space, or when there's a break in the relationship, or when a healthy boundary needs to be established, not allowing someone to manipulate us maybe with their physical affection. A time to hug and a time not to hug. I was raised in that culture. Every time I encountered friends and family then and to this day, we all hug and greet one another. But of course, we were careful with those who we didn't know. Maybe they don't understand our culture, or they were new to that. Except in my dad's case, there was no stranger. And my father would greet you and would shake your hand and would pull you to himself, and he would hug you. Everybody got that treatment. Now, when he met my father-in-law-to-be for the first time, I warned my father-in-law. And he's like, "Ain't no man hugging me." I said, "Good luck to you, buddy." And so I wish you could have seen the look on my father-in-law's face when my dad shook his hand, held it firm, and brought it to him and gave him a big hug. I tried to tell him. But once again, I digress. I think Solomon's observations are spot on, including what he saw with farming. Like the way a farmer would gather stones out of the field to make it easier to plant and grow crops. Or if you were wanting to seek revenge about some other farmer, you would take those stones and scatter them in their field to make it hard for them. A time to gather and a time to scatter is what he observed. And though I can't imagine Solomon ever downsized, he was spot on when he said there was a time to keep and a time to throw away. Now, those of you who are savers and keepers in this room love that first part. In fact, I think I've heard some of you say there's a time to keep and keep and keep keeping on. The tossers believe any time is a good time to donate, to sell, or to throw away. Having downsized a few years ago, this one hits home. It's not easy. And though we could dive into this at some level for more, now is not the time. Now is the time to simply step back and say, Solomon got it right. He also got it right when he observed about war and peace, and he contrasted the two of them. Though the nation he ruled experienced peace for 40 years throughout his entire reign, he would not need to have gone far to see around him one tribe raiding another or one nation battling another one. There was war and then peace. And there was war and there was peace. And again it went. Sadly, the cycle he observed 3,000 years ago continued year after year in one region of the world or another, up to including today. Solomon knew that though there are good things in life, bad things can and will happen and cannot be escaped. It's a harsh reality he acknowledges throughout the book of Ecclesiastes. And the more we cling to controlling our lives, doing all we can to keep anything bad from happening, the more frustrated we will become. The more we will find ourselves grasping at air. In fact, the harder we cling, the more we will find ourselves trying to force meaning where it was never meant to be found. As Solomon has shown us already, through knowledge, through pleasure, through work, and through wealth. But thankfully, Solomon doesn't stop right there. He goes on to point out some encouraging and very important realities for you and I, even amidst the paradoxes of life, that because of who God is, we are surrounded by beauty. We are created with longing, designed for joy, and can be comforted by his sovereignty. We pick this up in verse 9 of chapter 3 after that wonderful poem that he wrote, when Solomon says this, "What do people really get for all their hard work? I have seen the burden God has placed on us all." Interestingly enough, he asked that same question in chapter 1. What do people get for all their hard work? And this is how he answers it in chapter 1, which almost feels similar to what we see in the first part of chapter 3. Generations come and generations go, but the earth never changes. The sun rises and the sun sets, then hurries around to rise again. The wind blows south and then turns north. Around and around it goes. The lyrics to another song, the one written for Fiddler on a Roof, come to mind right when we read that passage. Sunrise, sunset. Sunrise, sunset. Swiftly flow the days. Seedlings turn overnight to sunflowers, blossoming even as we gaze. Sunrise, sunset. One season following another, laden with happiness and tears. You could feel the monotony in that song. You could feel it in Solomon's words in chapter 1 and again in chapter 3, which lead him to say in chapter 1, it's all wearisome beyond description. But that's chapter 1. In chapter 3, after talking about these seasons of life where there's a time for this and there's a time for that, his conclusion is far more brighter and encouraging. He says, "Yet God has made everything beautiful for its own time." Yes, there is a time for everything, and it will include difficult days, but that never negates what God has done. His handiwork is beautiful, and we are designed to see it and to delight in it. Beauty permeates our world and is a wonderful reflection of God's character. As we see in Psalm 1, the heavens proclaim the glory of God. The skies display his craftsmanship. Day after day, they continue to speak. Night after night, they make him known. Solomon's point, weaved throughout the book of Ecclesiastes, is that through it all, from one generation to the next and to the next, no matter how much we think or act otherwise, we just can't control every aspect of our lives. But we can rely on a loving God that is in control and has created beauty among us, which we are wired to enjoy. We simply need to step back and look at each moment through his eyes, through the eyes of the one who created every one of us and every corner of the universe, the eyes of the one who sees the big picture when I can't even see past the next 10 minutes, the eyes of the one who will walk with us and empower us through every season of life, every up and down, if we let him. And the eyes of the one who, when it seems like life is out of control or is unfair, from sunup to sundown, day after day, he is in control for all of eternity. Solomon reminds us that through the ups and downs of life, we are surrounded by beauty, and we are designed to enjoy it and delight in it. But secondly, he says we are created with longing, with a deep yearning within us. He says this, God has planted eternity in the human heart. But even so, people cannot see the whole scope of God's work from beginning to end. You and I are wired to search. We're designed with a deep yearning to know more, to put all the pieces together, to find the answers to our origins, to our purpose, to what lies ahead in our future. It's what drove Solomon to determine what was most meaningful, only to get to the end and determine, as strong as that drive is for meaning and purpose and enjoyment, nothing in our limited world can ever fully satisfy apart from God. We may suppress it or cling to happy sentiments, but it's a part of our DNA. It's a part of our deep desire to nail down all the answers and to fully understand everything. On top of that, Solomon came to realize how enormous God is and how impossible it was to know all of his ways. I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, and I refer back to what he says in chapter 8. I realized that no one can discover everything God is doing, not even the wisest people on the earth, no matter what they claim. 200 years after Solomon lived, Isaiah writes it this way. God says, my thoughts are nothing like your thoughts, and my ways are far beyond anything you could imagine. As far as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. And 700 years after Isaiah, Paul would say it this way. Now, we see things imperfectly, like puzzling reflections in a mirror. But then, we will see everything with perfect clarity. All I know now is partial and incomplete, but then I will know everything completely. Over 16 years ago, St. Augustine put it this way, very simply. You, God, have made us for yourself, and our hearts are restless until they find peace in you. Hearts restless. What a great way of expressing our condition apart from Jesus. It's no mystery as to why we yearn so deeply to make sense of it all. It's how God wired us. But when we learn from Solomon, we will adopt a posture of complete trust in God, which will enable us to enjoy the life that we have and not the one we think we ought to have. Put simply, a posture of trust leads to a life of freedom. Season after season, through the joys and sorrows of life, we are surrounded by beauty, whether we see it or not all the time, and we are created with a deep longing and stirring in our heart that is wired from the beginning. We may suppress it or misdirect it, but it is a part of our DNA, and when it bumps up against our limitations, we can learn from Solomon and adjust our posture. We can unclench our fist and take hold of God's outstretched hand. Solomon continues to remind us of a third thing, that we are designed for joy. He says, so I concluded that there's nothing better than to be happy and enjoy ourselves as long as we can. And people should eat and drink and enjoy the fruits of their labor, for these are gifts from God. Season after season, we are reminded to embrace the joy that God has given us to experience. Nathaniel highlighted this last week, and Solomon mentions it a number of times in Ecclesiastes. In chapter 2, he says, I concluded there's nothing better. There is nothing better than to enjoy food, I'm down, to enjoy food and drink and find satisfaction in work. Then I realized that these are pleasures from the hand of God. For who can eat or enjoy anything apart from him? Solomon says in Ecclesiastes 5, I have noticed one thing, at least one thing that is good. It's for people to eat, drink, and enjoy their work under the sun during the short life God has given them, and to accept their lot in life. To enjoy your work and accept your lot in life, this is indeed a gift from God. And lastly, he says, I recommend having fun, because there's nothing better in this world to eat, drink, and enjoy life. Can I just say some of us need to have more fun? Appropriate fun, but fun nonetheless. Or as Nathaniel said a few weeks ago, we are to enjoy life, and we honor God when we do so. We all know what it feels like when we give a gift to a friend or a family member and they absolutely delight in it and love it and are enjoying it. Now magnify that by imagining how God sees you and I when we delight and joy in the things that he has given us. It's what he's wired us for. We are designed to enjoy life and experience joy. It's one of the last things, by the way, that Jesus told his disciples there at the Last Supper. He said, I've told you these things so that you will be filled with joy. Yes, your joy will overflow. The joy of Jesus for you and for me, it's what he wants. And so Solomon reminds us that every day, from one sunup to the next, we are surrounded by beauty. We just need but look for it. And we are created with a deep longing which only finds rest in Jesus, and who reminds us that he came to restore us to the very joy we were designed to experience. And now lastly, when all is said and done, we can be comforted by God's sovereignty. It's the overriding theme of Solomon's writing in Ecclesiastes. Life isn't random, and it's not out of control. It may seem so to us at times, but as we step back and realize who we are and who God is, we can quit clinging so desperately to what is keeping us from taking hold of God's hand. Solomon says, and I know that whatever God does is final. Nothing can be added to it or taken from it. God's purpose is that people should fear him. What is happening now has happened before. And what will happen in the future has happened before, because God made the same things happen over and over. What God has done has been set in stone. His ways are brilliant, complete, and secure, and his timing is spot on. He is eternal, and he sees everything from a vantage point you and I don't fully get to see yet. And as though there are times we often see our time through a lens that says, oh, it's so bad now. It's never been this bad before in all of humanity. Solomon would say, one way or another, it's been like this all along. And how are we to respond? Respond by fearing God. Not a terrifying fear like when you see a spider the size of Montana in the middle of your living room. Not that kind of fear. Instead, it is knowing it is a reverence and awe and a deep respect. He knows what he's doing. He does what he says, and he loves me dearly, and he invites me to fully, totally trust in him. In resting in the sovereignty of God, that is where we find our rest. And that is where we find our purpose, and that is where we find our freedom. Solomon says you and I are surrounded by beauty. We just need to step back and see it. And we are created with this deep longing to know we are also designed for joy, to experience and enjoy the life he has given us. And when the curveballs come, we need only remember to adjust our posture, to remember that he is sovereign. He has control and authority over everything within his jurisdiction, which is everything. Knowing all of this opens a door for you and I to enjoy life day in and day out from one season to another. Some days we may need this reminder so we can adjust that posture. Some days are so hard that it will take every ounce of our being to make that adjustment. But it's always worth it. Because when I adopt a posture of complete trust in God, it frees me to simply enjoy life as I actually experience it, and not as I think it ought to be. Put simply, a posture of trust leads to a life of freedom. Today, as we celebrate communion together, it's an appropriate way to be reminded of everything Jesus has done for us, to be reminded about what truly matters, to give up our grip on what doesn't last or what doesn't matter, so with that same hand we can take his outstretched hand. Today is a time to celebrate, a time to remember, and a time to trust. When you're ready, in the moments that follow, take the bread. And as you do, imagine hearing Jesus leaning over to you and saying to you, this is a symbol of the way my body was broken for you. A reminder that my love for you is beyond anything you can ever imagine. So take that and remember me. And then in a moment to follow, take the cup. And imagine him saying to you, this is a symbol of the blood that I shed for you, the blood that paid for all of your sin and made the way for forgiveness. So take it now and trust me now forever and ever.
We're going to close our service with a time of worship, just affirming those truths that we have heard, that our freedom is found in trusting God. So as you're able, would you stand with me? Let's worship together. I count on one thing, the same God who's never fails will not fail me now. You won't fail me now in the waiting. The same God who's never late is working all things out. He's working all things out. Yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. Yes, I will bless your name. Yes, I will sing for joy when my heart is heavy and all my days. Oh, yes, I will. God that never fails will not fail me now. You won't fail me now in the waiting. The same God who's never late is working all things out. You're working all things out. Yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley. The name of all names, that nothing can stand against, and I choose to praise, to glorify the name of all names, that nothing can stand against. Oh yes, I will lift you high in the lowest valley.
A posture of trust leads to a life of freedom. Did I get that right? I'm going to remember that this week, and I love how Rob kept reminding us, adjust your posture, adjust your posture. I find myself doing that physically. A lot of times I see, I'm like, oh, and that was such a great way to phrase that. And that's my prayer for myself this week and for all of us, is that God would give us nudges to remind us to adjust our posture to one of trust, so that we can then live the life of freedom that he has gifted us. It's my prayer for myself, for all of us. And so with that, we hope you have a great week, and we hope to see you next week.